In this WrestleTalk news, WWE's Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns plans leaked. Will Cody Rhodes bring back the Winged Eagle belt? Nia Jax's WWE future, and more. Make sure your bladder is empty and your snacks are stocked up, because we're on the road to WrestleMania, baby! And we will not be stopping for toilet breaks, Madison. We're on a tight deadline and I don't want any fighting there in the back seats. So subscribe and enable notifications to always on to keep up to date with daily wrestling news videos.
Support WrestleTalk!
The true main event of the 2023 Royal Rumble wasn't the men's or women's Royal Rumble matches. Neither was it the Roman Reigns vs Kevin Owens WWE title main event. It was the 20-minute long post-match angle that took place following it, where after a year of slowly racketing up drama, Sami Zayn finally had enough of Reigns' Iron Superman fist and whacked him in the back with a chair. The moment was truly special, with many commenters and fans, myself included, calling it one of the best storylines of all time, alongside the likes of the Mega Powers imploding, the NXT DIY saga, and, of course, Eric Rowan's pet spider. The angle has done a very rare thing in modern pro wrestling, somewhat breaking through into the mainstream, despite the lack of someone who left the company a decade ago, made it big in the movies to return for a one-off storyline. See John Cena, Dave Bautista, or David Otunga. WrestleOps on Twitter claimed the ending to this year's Royal Rumble has been viewed over 20 million times across all WWE social media in under 24 hours. That number will have at least doubled by the time you watch this, because I have it on loop. According to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio, several days before the Royal Rumble, WWE did not have Roman Reigns vs Sami Zayn on their planned card for WrestleMania. With Cody Rhodes winning the Men's Rumble match, it now seems set to be Cody vs Roman on the biggest stage of them all. But Meltzer did note that can change. Instead, F4W Online is now reporting Roman Reigns vs Sami Zayn is now as confirmed as it can be for the 18th of February Elimination Chamber show main event in Montreal. Montreal is, of course, Sami's hometown. The stage couldn't be more perfectly set for a crowd to want to see Zayn finally overthrow Roman. Similar to Eddie Guerrero at No Way Out 2004, who beat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship the month before WrestleMania 20, despite Lesnar building a 6-month program with Goldberg for that show. I hear that went great! Perhaps the location of Elimination Chamber makes more sense to do the big title change there, rather than Mania the following month. But this is one of the problems with Triple H's creative reign so far. It's been too good. There's too many good things to do. If Sami wins the belt at Elimination Chamber, he'd have to face the also very good story of Rumble winner Cody at WrestleMania, which could very possibly turn the crowd against Rhodes. Again. Meltzer notes, this is WWE and everything is subject to change, but major changes to planned pay-per-view shows have been less with Paul Levesque in charge. How would you book around the Roman, Sami and Cody title triangle? Let me know in the comments, where I'll be replying, don't you forget about Jay. Surprisingly, the most heart-wrenching aspect of Sami standing up to Roman was the reaction of his newly minted best friend forever, Jey Uso. Jey couldn't choose who to side with in the moment, so he walked out on everyone. So not Uso. But now on social media, he appears to have made up his mind, tweeting, "I'm out! Tiny red blood drop emoji." Just in case you thought that was ambiguous, that he could be referring to his blood friendship with Sami as much as his bloodline allegiance. Jey followed that up with an Instagram story of a shot of him walking out in the top half, Roman's face in the bottom half, and the caption, "Run it back." Most likely a reference to the feud that started the whole Bloodline saga, when Jey fought Roman for the Universal Championship at Clash of Champions and Hell in a Cell in 2020. Losing forced Jey to acknowledge Roman as his tribal chief despite his moral misgivings he had about Reigns' then new heel tactics. That trauma has stayed with Jey's character ever since, likely fueling how fiercely loyal he's become and why this latest turn of events has caused an existential crisis for him. You hear that, Margaret Atwood? Handmaid's Tale's got nothing on pro wrestling! If Sami does dethrone Roman at Elimination Chamber to then defend against Cody at WrestleMania, perhaps Reigns could spin off into a feud over control of the Bloodline with Jey, also at the event. But it could have been also different. In his interview with Ariel Helwani, Sami Zayn admitted early on he was thinking about pulling the plug on his interactions with the Bloodline. Even when the Bloodline stuff started, about 2 months in, I was like, okay, I don't think this is going anywhere. I think maybe it's time to just, go in a different direction. Sami cited the episode of SmackDown in Montreal as the turning point. Coincidentally, the same city Elimination Chamber will reportedly see Zayn finally fight Roman Reigns. This storyline is so perfect! That was the 19th of August 2022 episode, where Sami took a Claymore from Drew McIntyre to save Reigns ahead of their Clash at the Castle title match. One of the main reasons it went down that way is because none of the rest of the Bloodline were at the show. The Usos reportedly weren't allowed into Canada because of Jimmy's multiple DUIs. Solo Sikoa wasn't yet with the group, so they used Sami for the save spot. That was the first proper time Sami and Roman interacted in the Bloodline story without the other supporting cast, because the person who used to be in charge apparently wouldn't let that happen, because it wasn't just the Montreal setting that lines all this up perfectly. Sami hinted it was also because Triple H had just taken over full creative control from Vince McMahon. I know before Triple H was on creative, I never got on screen with Roman. Then when Triple H did get on creative, I finally did get on screen with Roman. Once he was in charge, all of a sudden, I'm on screen, and it's allowed to breathe and see where it goes. Because if I do get on screen with Roman and we start doing stuff with the Usos and all that, and it's not really working, then okay, you go somewhere else. But because it got started to work, it got room to breathe. As it breathed, it grew. Whether that would have happened without him, I don't know, but probably not. And Sami wasn't the only one with positive words for Triple H's creative process. Zayn's comments echo Bray Wyatt's take on Ryan Satin's Out of Character podcast. The creative process is different now. It's more of a free flow. Everything that happens now is organic. When things happen, they happen in the moment, It's not preparation, it's not all this hoopla surrounding it, and there's not all these rules. It's kind of, things are just happening. That is the genius of Triple H. It sounds like Hunter has cultivated a perfect balance of long-term planning while also allowing for enough flexibility to experiment and change plans if certain stories get hot. But sometimes you can experiment too much. While some really enjoyed the vision and look of the Mountain Dew pitch black match between Bray and LA Knight, many more thought it revealed the worst side of Wyatt's untethered creativity. Bray has defended the match, saying he's willing to take risks and do things that no one has ever done. There's an argument there that if you want all the genuine awe that comes with Bray's creative mind, you occasionally have to put up with some UV paint and Uncle Howdy dancing every once in a while. Whatever happens with Sami and Roman, Cody, in theory, has himself a confirmed championship shot at WrestleMania. And in true Cody style, he's already trying to bring back a belt he liked when he was a kid. Rhodes has posted a picture of the beloved Winged Eagle WWF Championship design on his Instagram story. This isn't the first time Cody has reintroduced a classic belt, having brought back the white strap Intercontinental title when he had the championship in 2011. With WWE wanting to own all of its intellectual property outright though, this might not be possible. Third-party designers made many of the classic championships, which is why the promotion has transitioned all their belts to the same giant WWE logo look. But with that said, Triple H is also a big belt mark. Just look at some of the gorgeous NXT titles he introduced. Look at them, so sexy. So perhaps something could be arranged, especially because you'll need everything at your disposal to get Cody cheered for the simple fact he's not Sami Zayn. The Women's Royal Rumble match saw a return not like most girls, with Nia Jax making her comeback to the company at number 30. She initially overpowered the other 11 women in the ring before Rhea Ripley hit a clunky riptide and everyone threw Jax out. Perhaps it was all just a fun cameo spot, and Nia can go back to trashing the company outside it, or maybe even working for the Authors of Pain's new wrestling promotion, if that ever happens. But according to WWE Shop, it looks like Nia is here to stay, with a new Irresistible Force t-shirt now for sale with the description, Nia Jax is back. She is currently still listed in the alumni section of their online roster page. Overall though, WWE's Royal Rumble 2023 was my favourite show of the Triple H era. I gave it the highest score I've ever given a pay-per-view. Watch on for my full review. Coming up in this review, Bray Wyatt uses a UV light in Vince McMahon's office. Women's roster overjoyed famously safe worker Nia Jax makes WWE return. And Bloodline story makes grown men stoically approve. Sami!